My name is Mark Eskin. I am the son of someone who survived the Łódź ghetto in Poland during World War II and also various concentration camps, including Buchenwald. And for the past 18 months or more, I've been coming on these pro-Gaza, anti-genocide demonstrations to point out that not only those of a Jewish background, but Jews who have a Holocaust survivor background are also very much opposed to the genocide going on in Gaza. And I've just been standing here with this sort of placard with a dozen or so others with similar backgrounds, including 2 actual Holocaust survivors. My understanding of what Israel has been doing in Gaza is that it has been almost nothing to do with destroying Hamas, but rather about destroying Gaza as a place where anyone can live, and then creating a situation where the people of Gaza have no choice but to leave. So it's ethnic cleansing by bombing and destruction and mass starvation. Of course, that is as close as you can get to genocide, and that is what's happening. And the real tragedy for those of us from Britain who are standing here in Whitehall is that our government, our elected representatives, the establishment at every level, including the BBC and others, are supporting this genocide, not reporting on what's really happening. And it's one of the most tragic things that's ever happened in my life, and I will keep protesting against it till well, forever, if it goes on. I hope it doesn't keep going on. Well, Israel as a state represents itself in a particular way in its own interests, and it claims completely dishonestly that it is the state of all Jews and it represents all Jews, even though obviously the vast majority of Jews have no chance to vote in Israeli elections or have any say in what the state is. But that's particularly tragic because what it means when Israel commits war crimes, they're being done in the name of all Jews. And I can't think of anything that's going to create more anti-Semitism than that. So Israel is, in a sense, the world's main source of anti-Semitism at the moment. And this is a big worry for Jewish people. But I think people outside the Jewish community just need to know that many tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Jews around the world are completely opposed to what Israel is doing now. Others are less strongly opposed, but certainly no fans of Netanyahu. And the Jewish community, both in Israel, but certainly outside it, across the world, are not in any way represented by people who claim to represent them, especially the state of Israel.
What do you think about the UN, United Nations, founded after the Second World War, right to protect Jewish people? So what do you think about the power, or the power they have not now? They seem powerless, basically.
Well, the reason the United Nations appears powerless is because the major powers within it haven't chosen to act. So people like China, Russia, and especially the US. So I think in that sense the United Nations is crippled. The hope for the future, I don't think, is in the United Nations. I wish it could be. I think the hope for the future is in ordinary people in America, in Europe, rising up, and also people in the Middle East, not just in Palestine, but also across the Middle East, rising up and trying to create some kind of alternative to this horrible form of capitalism that's destroying the planet through climate change, threatening more and more wars, other disasters, economic disasters. Now that sounds extremely idealistic, except it happened. 2011, there was a rebellion in Tunisia that spread to Egypt that overthrew various regimes in the Middle East. That inspired the Occupy movement, the anti-capitalist movement of that period, Corbyn, Bernie Sanders in America. So these international movements can really change things, and I could be wrong, but my hope is that is what we're hopefully going to see over the next decade or so.
What would you like the British government to do?
I think the British government has shown it has the slightest interest in the people of Palestine, the people of the world, or indeed the British people. Its only interest is supporting the wealthy people in this country, whatever the Pentagon or the Americans tell them to do, and their own corrupt interests. It's hard to think of a politician more selfish, corrupt, utterly indifferent to truth or anything.